Welcome back to the vlog, you guys. Today, we're at Petsmart, and I want to know, do they actually have good information and their employees just don't know how to disseminate it to the public? Or do they have horrible information all the way around? They just refuse to follow it. And what better way to do that than to dive into their care guides? Let's go, you guys.
Make sure to subscribe to Derek's Reptile channel. Go show that some love and all that type of stuff because we need good content out there.
Let's dive right into the care guide. On the first page, they have the ball python terrarium and how they want you to set it up. Don't do this. It's the worst setup I've ever seen in my life. I'm gonna show it to you. One hideout, aspen set shavings, temperature and humidity gauges at the top of the cage. What's going on here? This is the worst setup I've ever seen. First off, don't get aspen for a ball python. It's horrible. It doesn't hold humidity well. It's quick to mold. Second off, why are the temperature and the humidity gauge at the top of the cage? The snake doesn't live at the top of the cage. You want the temperature and humidity gauge as close to the ground as you can get it to measure accurately. Second off, why is there just one hide? That baffles me. You want a minimum of 2 hides. One on the hot side, one on the cold side. And for the love of God, people, stop buying these half logs. They are not hideouts, especially for a ball python. They are open on each side of the hideout. That doesn't make a snake feel secure. You want to buy like a cave type hideout that has one entrance in, one entrance out to where the snake can crawl in, feel safe and secure. Now that we got the enclosure out of the way, please don't do this. Let's talk about their temperatures. It says that they want the cool side to be 80 to 85 degrees. They want the warm side to be 90 degrees. And they want your night temperature to be between 70 and 80 degrees. That'll work. I don't really see a problem with those temperatures. I agree with that. It says that they want you to keep the humidity between 30 to 50%. Don't do that. If I was still keeping ball pythons, I would recommend keeping your ball python's humidity at 50% every day. Keep it at 50%. And then when you notice that they're in shed, up it a little higher. Up it to 60, 70%, and you're going to get perfect sheds. 30% is just too low. You're at risk for respiratory infections. You're at risk for bad sheds. Just don't do it. Pay no attention to that. It's just too low. Now, don't get me wrong. If your enclosure drops below 50%, it's not the end of the world. Just make sure you monitor the humidity and just spray when needed, okay? Let's go to the second page. How do I set up my ball python's terrarium? Ball pythons should live alone in a glass terrarium of at least 40 gallons with a tightly secured screen lid. They got one thing right. Ball pythons should live alone. A glass terrarium is okay, but it's not the best recommendation. And for an adult ball python, 40 gallons, in my opinion, is just too small. I would recommend a 4-foot PVC enclosure. But here's the kicker. I'll tell you why Petsmart is not recommending that in this guide. Here's a fun fact. Petsmart makes their own care guides. I didn't know that. That's crazy. So when they make this guide, not only are they trying to tell you something, but they're trying to sell you something. Before you leave, they want you to buy a glass terrarium. Why? That's all they sell is glass terrariums. They don't sell vision cages. They don't sell PVC cages. Glass terrarium is what they got. So of course that's what they're going to recommend in the care guide. Now for an adult ball python, they say that they want you to do it in 40 gallons. Why is that? Because Petsmart sells terrariums, and the biggest they go up to is 40 gallons. So they're not going to recommend a 4-foot PVC cage. Could you imagine that? Hey, buy a PVC cage that's 4 foot. You can't get it here, but go here and buy it from them. They will lose money. So they're not going to do that. So if you, like I said, if you want to keep a ball python in a glass terrarium, it's possible. It's not the best enclosure, but it's doable. Next, line the bottom of the terrarium with reptile carpet or 2 inches of reptile bedding. Don't do that. I wish they would take this out. Never put your snake on reptile carpet. Always get it some sort of substrate, but never reptile carpet. As a responsible snake owner, it's your job to recreate your snake's environment from nature as best you can while you have them. And reptile carpet is just not natural. You're not going to be able to keep the humidity up because it doesn't hold humidity very well. And it's a pain to clean. So I disagree with that. Don't get reptile carpet. For a ball python, get some type of substrate, whether it be coconut husk or some kind of dirt, something that is going to hold that humidity pretty good. Next, it says ball pythons require a temperature gradient, a cool side and a warm side in their terrarium. That's correct. Next, it says place a daytime heat bulb over the habitat to provide warmth. That's okay. I don't disagree with that. Turn off for 12 hours at night. Yeah, you want to simulate a day and night cycle. Okay, I don't disagree with that. But you do need to pick one or the two. Ball pythons really don't need above heat. I would recommend, do a heat mat, but make sure you get a thermostat. The heat mat is a little better because they can lay there, soak up that heat through their belly, and they're going to be able to digest their food a little better, if that makes sense. Add 2 thermometers, one at each end of the habitat, and a hydrometer to measure humidity. Use the chart for appropriate ranges. Okay, I agree with that. But make sure you place those gauges at the right position in your tank. Not at the top. You want it on the bottom, close as you can to the ground to measure right. Place 2 hides, one on the warm side and one on the cool side. Use sphagnum moss as bedding in your warm hide to keep it damp and to create a humidity hide. Humid hides are okay. You don't really need them, so I kind of disagree with that. As long as you're keeping your humidity in your tank at 50, and when you see that they're in sheds, you up it a little bit, you'll be fine doing without a humid hide. Stock the tank with branches for hiding and climbing. I agree with that. Mixture of python and habitat as needed. I agree with that. Next, when should you contact a veterinarian? When they're eating or drinking less and weight loss. I don't agree with that. Ball pythons are known to go on eating strikes, so don't contact your veterinarian unless you see weight loss. Discharge from eyes, nose, or mouth. Yeah, contact your vet if you see that. Shedding problems, contact your vet. I disagree. If you're having a shedding problem, 9 times out of 10, if you change something in your husbandry, you'll probably fix it. Just spray them a little more, or, just check your temperature. Something is off in your enclosure if you're getting a shedding problem. Contact your vet when they're avoiding the basking area and spending more time hiding. I disagree with that. Ball pythons are known to hide, so don't even listen to that. Decrease frequency of droppings. Okay, I agree with that. If they're not having just bowel movements regularly, they could be impacted. So yeah, I'd go contact your vet. Open mouth breathing or excessive noise. Yep, probably have a respiratory infection. Definitely contact a vet. And on the back, they have the shopping checklist. What will I need for my ball python? A 40-gallon terrarium. Like I said, it'll work. It's not the best, but again, they're trying to sell you something before you leave. A daylight bulb or under tank heat mat. I wouldn't get the bulb. I'd go with the under tank heat mat with a thermometer. Make sure you get that thermometer. Water dish large enough for a snake to soak in. I agree with that. Artificial natural rock or wood hides, 2 of them. I agree with that. Coconut fiber or reptile bedding. I agree with that. Branches for climbing and hiding. Yeah, you're going to need that. Frozen rodents and feeding togs. Yeah, you're going to need that. In a food bowl. What? Why would you need a food bowl? I'm going to show you this. It really says that. Food bowl. I mean, and if you just have like an uppity snake and you want to sell them their meal on like a silver platter, I guess you could use a food bowl. Petsmart, come on. What are you guys doing? This guide is trash. Comment below. Tell me your feelings. And if you're still here, I appreciate you for watching. Like and subscribe. I guess the moral of the story is, if you're going to get a ball python, don't go to Petsmart. Try and get like a local breeder, a moms and pops reptile store. And before you even get your snake, do your own research or you'll end up with trash like this. This is Derek's Reptiles. I appreciate you for watching.